this. Guys, you won't believe how much.
The story begins not with the world as we know it, but with Ein Sof, the infinite, the ungraspable divine who precedes all being and all becoming. In the classic Lurianic narrative, creation is initiated by Tzimtzum, a contraction or withdrawal in which the infinite makes a vacated space, Chalal Panui, allowing for the possibility of otherness. This act is not a spatial movement, but a metaphysical concealment, enabling the emergence of finitude within the boundlessness of the divine. Into this void, a single ray of divine light, Kav, enters, and from this light emerges Adam Kadmon, the primordial human who is not a person, but a cosmic template in whose potential all subsequent realities are contained. Creation unfolds through a series of worlds, each one more concrete and dense than the last. Atzilut, emanation, Bariah, creation, Yetzirah, formation, and Asiya, action. Within these worlds, the divine energy is structured by the 10 Sephirot, attributes or vessels through which divinity is expressed. At a critical stage, the world of Nekudim, points, the Sephirot emerge as isolated entities, each one receiving the influx of light directly without mediation or interrelation. The vessels are unable to withstand the intensity of the light. They shatter, and their shards fall into the lower worlds, trapping sparks of holiness within opaque shells. This event, the breaking of the vessels, marks the origin of evil, chaos, and suffering. The klipot, the husks or shells, are the remnants of the shattered vessels, while the Sitra Akra, the other side, becomes the domain of these forces. Luria's myth is not a tale of divine failure, but an assertion that rupture is woven into the very fabric of creation. The shattering is the necessary risk of revelation, the price of freedom and finitude. Holiness is exiled, hidden within the broken, the impure, and the mundane. Humanity's role is thus defined: to gather and uplift the sparks, to repair the world through acts of loving kindness, ritual, and intention. Precedents and precursors, the deep roots of the myth. While Luria's formulation is unique, the motifs upon which he draws are ancient. The Midrash, for instance, preserves the notion that God created worlds and destroyed them before creating ours, a mythic cycle of creation and destruction that foreshadows the doctrine of cosmic catastrophe and ongoing repair. The Zohar, the foundational text of Kabbalah, elaborates upon the drama of the Sephirot, describing moments when divine judgment overshadows compassion and when shells arise to encase and obscure the divine light. In these earlier layers, evil and imperfection are not absolute powers, but byproducts of imbalance, excess, or concealment. The Klipot are not rivals to God, but the aftermath of a process meant for good. The seeds of the Lurianic myth are thus present. The world is not a static perfection, but a field of struggle, ambiguity, and potential. The aftermath, Klipot, the Sitra, Akra, and exile. The shattering of the vessels inaugurates a world of exile, Galut, in which sparks of holiness are trapped within the broken and the profane. The Klipot, literal husks or shells, are the remnants of the original vessels, now divorced from their light and purpose. They are the structures of evil, chaos, distortion, but they are not independent entities. They are the consequences of light without vessel, of power without structure, of revelation without containment. The Sitra Akra, the other side, is the domain of these forces. It is not an ontological rival to the divine, but the shadow side of creation, the exile of holiness within the impure, the broken and the marginal. The task of redemption, tikkun, is the gathering and uplifting of the sparks, a process that takes place through mitzvot, commandments, ethical living, and mystical intention. Each act of goodness, each moment of mindfulness is a microcosmic act of repair. The Dark Angels, names, origins, and functions. Who are the Dark Angels who emerge from the catastrophe of the vessels? The tradition is complex, with some figures serving as primordial beings, others as personifications of negative qualities, and still others as fallen angels, or rulers of the Shilipot. Their stories are interwoven through classical, Zoharic, and Lurianic sources. Samael, perhaps the most prominent, is variously described as the angel of death, the accuser, and the prince of the Sitra Achra. His name is often understood as the poison of God, and he is the consort of Lilith in Zoharic lore. He embodies the unbalanced force of Gevurah, severity, which when divorced from Chesed, kindness, becomes the root of cruelty and judgment without compassion. Samael is not evil per se, but an aspect of divine judgment that has become destructive through isolation. Lilith's origin traces to Babylonian and Sumerian myth, but in Jewish tradition, she becomes the first wife of Adam, exiled from Eden for refusing to submit. She is the seductress, the child stealer, the consort of Samael, and the embodiment of unredeemed autonomy and chaotic feminine power. Lilith is both a warning against unchecked rebellion and a symbol of the suppressed feminine, reclaimed in modernity as an icon of empowerment. Azazel appears in the Torah as the recipient of the Yom Kippur scapegoat, and in the Book of Enoch as a fallen angel who teaches humanity the arts of war. He becomes the chieftain.
Baba. Habari yako baba?
Salama mama.
So you just take one of
With all, how do I keep what made me me? No smoke, no scene, just got.
Esta es la faja de uso diario que todas están utilizando.
But
Mom, stop.
Information.
And when your face starts to sag right here, it lets people know that